They are just passing by, on their way elsewhere, maybe to hatch an egg or to fast as penance for their sins. Or maybe while a cloud sweeps past or the wind abates. On the ground they look so heavy, like prisoners. But don't you believe it? Almost imperceptible signs announce the end of fasting and abstinence. These signs are a sort of code, foreshadowing the time for freedom. The time for rites and gestures, for ceremonial and defiance. Silent or noisy, in sudden darts or powerful thrusts, they snap their chains and choose freedom. Intercepting wings. In flight, they regain ease and freedom. They fly. It's like a song. Just a murmur at times, then a joyful crescendo. A short, deep note lifted by the wind. A song which gathers volume like that of an organ, picked up from all around the sky, in unison. May 8th, 1969. Mirage 3 jet over Chalon-sur-Marne, France. Altitude, 250 meters. Speed, 450 knots. Collides with buzzard. Windshield shattered. Instrument panel damaged. Pilot slightly injured. October 28th, 1966, 11:50 a.m. Cessna L-19 military plane over Mailly test range. Altitude, 300 feet, 150 kilometers per hour. Crashes into flight of cranes. Windshield and left wing damaged. Plane crashes. 2 crew members killed. October 4th, 1960. Lockheed Electra taking off from Boston. 26 seconds after brake release at an altitude of 56 feet, starlings are ingested by engines 1, 3, and 4. 21 seconds later, the airplane crashes. 59 passengers and 3 crew members are killed. Airplanes and birds don't always get along well together, but they very often cohabitate. Birds are frequently attracted to airport areas. They can spot danger from afar in these wide open spaces. They like the heat stored and radiated by the runways. Airport lights attract insects, and insects attract birds. And curiously enough, birds become easily accustomed to the noise. In some cases, airports are built in areas that have always been haunted by birds. 4 airports in the south of France, Nîmes, Marseille, Marignane, Istres and Salon, are typical examples of this problem. They are surrounded by bird haunts. The Camargue Reserve in the Rhône Delta, the Durance River and the Mediterranean coastline are traditional residential areas for birds. Man provides food in garbage dumps near the cities of Aix-en-Provence and Marseille, and in discharge sewers near Port-Meaux. Water is plentiful in lakes and rivers near the airports. When well housed and fed, seagulls and sterns multiply rapidly. Large numbers of them fly through the whole area. Radar operators in Aix-en-Provence have carefully plotted their daily movements during all seasons. One hour before daybreak, and for a period of 2 hours, the birds wake up, leave their dormitories and fly to their dining room, a few miles away. 3 hours before and 1 hour after sunset, they go back to their roost. At least twice a day, they cross the flight paths of aeroplanes from 4 airports. Most of these birds live in the area, but from time to time they are joined by even larger numbers of migrators. It is not surprising, then, that planes and birds sometimes meet. This aircraft, on a photographic mission, had such an experience. And there is nothing to be astonished about. Each year, 600 million birds cross the Mediterranean Sea. The flocks are sometimes 300 feet in depth. Many of these birds fly over France at various altitudes in all kinds of weather, day and night. When a 4-pound duck collides with an aircraft flying at 200 miles an hour, it produces a 5-ton impact load. At 500 miles an hour, the impact load is 50 tons. In France, during 1969, bird strikes occurred on 154 airplanes, 68 civilian and 86 military, all the more vulnerable since they fly at lower altitudes and higher speeds. Jet engines and windshields are the most likely to be damaged. This danger must be eliminated. A radical solution would be to exterminate all birds, but it is not the correct one. It is too cruel and would only serve to speed up man's destruction of nature, which has already reached such dramatic proportions. Admittedly, airplanes could then fly as they wish, anywhere, without any risk. But for how long? Nature would soon stage a comeback. Newborn birds would quickly invade the airways once again. A more reasonable and humane solution is needed. Instead of destroying birds, we should learn their habits and work out methods of coexistence. Now fully aware of the dangers, engineers should develop new ways of reinforcing aircraft structures, of protecting main controls and leading edges, so that the crew and passengers are safe in the event of a bird strike. Jet engine designers should take account of the bird hazard and try to find ways of reducing its effects. Bird movements near airports should be carefully observed and action taken to keep them away from approach and flight lanes. Radar systems can now accurately reveal the local habits and migratory patterns of birds and serve as an immediate warning system to pilots.
Delta Romeo, remettez les gaz et dégagez par la gauche. Il y a des mouettes en bout de piste. Rappelez-moi, 1000 pieds, vent arrière.
Delta Romeo, perçu les oiseaux, je rappelle 1000 pieds par arrière.
Véhicule oiseau, à la 23, il y a des mouettes.
Roger, autorisation de traverser la piste.
Ok.
Merci.
Constant airport surveillance reduces the danger of bird strikes on landing or takeoff. Airport operators use flares, shell crackers, gas cannons, and recorded distress calls to frighten birds away from the vicinity.
Voiture oiseau.
L'oiseau, je t'écoute.
Et farouchement terminé, piste claire.
Ok, merci.
Cooperation among all radar systems, including those on airports, would provide controllers and pilots with immediate data. Appropriate action could then be taken during approach or climb to avoid collisions with bird flocks.
Temperature 29.
Birds could also be coaxed away from airports by the creation of sanctuaries. Airborne VHF transmitters could be used to move birds out of flight paths. And the most effective means of reducing the bird strike hazard lies in the selection of a suitable location for new airports. Enough is known about bird habits to avoid migration routes and major passageways of resident bird populations. The situation remains serious. Every aircraft, regardless of the height at which it cruises, must pass through the lower regions of the atmosphere at least twice on every flight. Sometimes the entire flight must be carried out in these regions. Bird hazards constitute a serious challenge to aviation. The solution is not simple. It will require more intensive research, and it will be costly. Our planet is large enough for both men and birds to live together in peace and harmony. But perhaps it would be wise to define areas for men and others for birds. There is room enough in the sky for both the noisy wings and the silent wings. For those who are just passing by, those who fly, 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 like a song picked up from all around the sky in unison.